kijk dan. Je zal er maar wonen. Moet je kijken. Het is er allemaal. Geen één van die huizen staat leeg. Dus waarom woon jij hier niet? Heerlijk aan het water. Dit is je uitzicht, je zonsondergang. Iedere dag opnieuw. Ik zeg, het is geweldig. Het is echt super, super, super dik, zal ik je vertellen. Het is, ja, top eigenlijk gewoon. Hier, deze mensen die daar, met die boot daar, die kwamen net eventjes langs op het eilandje. Even een frietje eten. Even gezellig, een stukje muziek, een beetje waterskiën. En weer naar huis. En dit is dan je huis. Je woont hier. Ik zeg, hoe te gek kan je het allemaal maken? Maar je moet het doen. Je zal actie moeten ondernemen om dit te realiseren. Ik zeg, als we het hebben over brandend verlangen. Ik zeg, wij hebben weer een topdag achter de rug. Met vrouw Beatrice. Een lekker wijntje. En jongens, kijk nou. Zie dit. Wat wil je dan? Ik bedoel, ik kan me voorstellen dat je kiest voor Spanje. Hè, Ferry? Helemaal top. Maar dit is toch ook wel heel erg leuk. Huis op palen. Houten palen. Beetje aan het klussen. Moet je kijken hoe gaaf het is allemaal. Hier, mensen zitten lekker in de tuin daar. Lekker bootje varen. Ik zeg, het is hartstikke leuk. Ik zeg, super. Het is helemaal top. Ik zeg, wens je een fijne dag. En ga ervoor. Kick-ass. Woehoe. Kijk, dus eindelijk gevonden. Mijn nieuwe huis. Ja hoor. Speedbootje erbij. Beetje waterskiën de hele dag. Ik zeg, Jezus, Mina, wat vervelend. Ongelooflijk, moet je zien. Gekke huis. Nee, niet die. Die daar, oh. Hier, buitenverblijfje. Voor de businesspartners die extra hun best doen. Die komen dan lekker een weekje, 2 weken bij mij relaxen gewoon. En daar woon ik dan zelf. En een beetje een bootje erbij en zo. Die ligt daar met een ander bootje. En nou, ik zeg, lekker bezig. Joehoe! Yeah! Ja, of zo'n huisje. Ook heel leuk natuurlijk. Wat wil je dan? Ja, of zo'n huisje. Ook heel leuk natuurlijk. Wat wil je dan? Het is er allemaal. Jij mag kiezen. Maar je moet er wat voor doen. Word wakker. Come on. Kick ass. Kom op. Ja, lekker. Beetje varen. Beetje huisjes kijken. Eigenlijk, dat huisjes kijken is gewoon visualiseren. Gewoon dreambuilding. Dat brandende verlangen opbouwen. Waar wil je naartoe? Waar wil je heel hard voor werken? Waar wil je zo hard voor werken dat je letterlijk bereid bent om er alles voor te doen? Ik wil hier wel alles voor doen. Hè? Jij niet dan? Wil jij dat niet? Dit wil je toch? Dit is toch wat je wil? Met je eigen aanlegstijger. Zie je? Daar. En bij dit huis, dan kan je daar omheen varen, om dat riet, en dan daar erin. Daar hebben ze gewoon een hele dikke, vette speedboot liggen. Ja. Jongens, het is echt geweldig. Wat wil je dan? Dit wil je toch? De hele dag. Elke dag. Hoi. Ja, precies. Ik denk, ik moet het gewoon eventjes met jullie delen. Want dat is echt zo ontiegelijk geweldig op het moment dat je daar bent. En het was lekker... Oh, wacht even. En het was lekker weer. Wacht eventjes, want ik heb hier in één keer per ongeluk de verkeerde te pakken.
En het was heel erg lekker weer. En ik had zoiets van, weet je wat? Ik moet dit echt met jullie delen. Ik ga zo direct aan het einde, maar die was qua omzetten nog niet helemaal klaar. Ga ik even kijken of ik jullie nog wat anders kan laten zien. Nee, wat? Dat bewaar ik gewoon voor zaterdag. Zaterdag ga ik jullie het huis laten zien van John de Mol. Die heeft aan de voorkant en aan de achterkant van zijn huis heeft hij water. En hij heeft 2 pontjes. Eén waar je gewoon met je fiets overlopend op kan. En die andere voor de auto. En het is echt geweldig als je het huis ziet. Dat huis is dus ook daar. Bij de Loosdrechtse Plassen. Hier 10 minuutjes vandaan ongeveer met de auto. Je weet niet wat je meemaakt. Het is echt geweldig. Goed, dan wou ik eventjes de volgende slide met jullie delen. Want ik denk dat er toch wel heel veel mensen onder ons zijn die misschien een beetje een, hoe noemen we dat? Een soort van een poor mindset hebben nog steeds. En dat bedoel ik heel goed. Dat bedoel ik als volgt. Stel je voor, mensen lopen in de winkel en ze zien wat leuks. In ieder geval in Nederland. Ik weet niet hoe het in België gaat, want daar zijn ze wat meer begonnen. Dus ik denk dat de Nederlander daar inderdaad erger in is. Maar goed, in Nederland, wat doen we? We zoeken eerst dat bonnetje. Ja, dan pakken we. Oh ja, nou, het kost zoveel. Heb je er wel eens bij stilgestaan eigenlijk op dat moment? Dat je jezelf ook kan afvragen van, goh, hoe kan ik mezelf het nou veroorloven om die hele winkel te kopen? Want ergens iemand heeft dat gedaan. Anders kon jij namelijk niet in die winkel lopen. Even kijken, ik krijg hier wat commentaar dat iemand er niet in komt. Even kijken, een momentje alsjeblieft, sorry. Skype uitzetten is afmelden, s'il vous plaît, en link kopiëren, plakken. Hoppakee, dan ga ik hier weg. Hoppakee. Nou, dat weet ik ook niet. Hoppakee, zelf afmelden. Goed, sorry, mijn excuses. Ik moest eventjes iemand uit de brand helpen. Even kijken. Juist. Hetgene wat we eigenlijk niet doen, is ons afvragen hoe we het een en ander ons wel kunnen veroorloven. En als we dan zo'n mogelijkheid in handen hebben, dan kijken we ernaar. Van alle kanten, gaan het vanaf alle kanten bekijken en belichten of het wel daadwerkelijk zo goed is. En vervolgens kijken we er dan naar en sommige mensen hebben dan zoiets van, ja, maar wat zal mijn omgeving ervan zeggen? Ik heb dat al eens eerder aangehaald tijdens een kick-ass class. Laat alsjeblieft niet jouw toekomst, niet jouw leven afhangen van de reactie van andere mensen. De reactie van jouw dierbaren, de mensen om je heen. Even kijken, ik heb er gisteren nog eentje ingeschreven. En dinsdag 2. Kijk, lekker bezig Misha. Waarom heb ik... Oh ja, maar dat is natuurlijk van deze week. Misha, vergeet niet om je resultaten komende zondagavond naar mij te mailen. Hè? Ja, je uitdagingslijstje eventjes naar mij mailen. Ik zeg, lekker bezig daar in België. Ik zeg, nog eventjes, dan worden wij Nederlands ingehaald door de Belgen. Ja, maar ho eens even. Precies. Wanneer je jezelf een andere manier van communicatie aanleert, ook niet alleen naar andere mensen, maar ook met jezelf. Dan zie je dat op het moment dat je... Kijk, in eerste instantie is het net zoals in de film The Secret, hè, dan lijkt het een beetje op een tenniswedstrijd, ja. Wil dat ene, maar het andere trekt je dan toch weer terug. En dan wil je weer het andere en dan haalt het ene je weer terug. En dan denk je bij jezelf van, ja, ik kan dit wel de hele tijd in mijn hoofd stoppen, maar dat werkt niet. Maar naarmate je daar meer en meer mee bezig bent, zul je toch merken dat je met flinke stappen behoorlijk vooruit gaat. Goed. Even kijken, want hier heb ik eventjes wat lekker in. Juist. Een winnaar zet gewoon door. Vind een andere manier. Gaat openstaan voor dingen uit zijn of haar omgeving. En wat ik nu zelf bijvoorbeeld ervaar, is dat er heel veel mensen zijn, speciaal in deze groep, in de kick-ass class, die gewoon echt ervoor gaan. En linksom of rechtsom het gewoon echt doen ook gewoon. En ik moet zeggen dat het mij echt een heel erg goed en fijn gevoel geeft. En mij ook motiveert om iedere dag toch weer bezig te zijn met kick-ass class. Daar iedere dag standaard 2 uur tijd in te steken. Om dan na 1, 2, 3, soms 3 dagen toch weer ander materiaal te hebben. Om er iedere keer net weer eventjes een andere draai aan te geven. In de wens dat ik ergens iets kan doen of je kan laten zien. Of een van mijn collega's natuurlijk. Die je triggert. Want je hebt eigenlijk, om te veranderen, heb je maar een fractie van een seconde nodig. En ook dat is niet iets wat veel mensen zich realiseren. Wanneer het, in Nederland zeggen we dat dan, wanneer het kwartje valt, wanneer het muntje valt, wanneer je het in de gaten hebt, dat verandering eigenlijk alleen maar te maken heeft met jouw beslissing, waar je op dat moment je tanden in zet en er een overtuiging van maakt. Wanneer je die fractie van een seconde hebt, dan verandert alles. Dus we grijpen alles aan om ervoor te zorgen dat ergens in die komende kick-ass classes, natuurlijk liefst die vandaag, dat er iets is wat je zo triggert, dat je zoiets hebt van, weet je wat, nu heb ik het echt helemaal gehad en nu ben ik echt bereid om er keihard voor te gaan. Goed, ik heb inderdaad eventjes 2 filmpjes geselecteerd. En die zijn, naar mijn idee, echt meesterlijk. Maar helaas in het Engels. Mijn excuses voor de mensen die niet zo goed Engels kunnen. Het is voor mij niet te doen om al dat materiaal in het Nederlands te gaan ondertitelen. En dat soort werk allemaal. Mijn wens is dat je in ieder geval er wat van meekrijgt. Je hoeft ook niet ieder woord precies te begrijpen. Zolang je maar de strekking van het verhaal meekrijgt. En ik zou je willen adviseren om eventjes pen en papier te pakken. En eventjes wat aantekeningen te maken voor jezelf. Dan kan je gewoon eruit filteren wat voor jou belangrijk is en wat voor jou interessant is. Ja, laten we snel beginnen. Dan komen we hier zo direct terug. Ja, wat geweldig, wat een huis, hè. Oké. Hetgene waar het eventjes om gaat, is hetgeen wat je niet wordt geleerd op school. Ik kwam deze video een jaar geleden ongeveer, volgens mij, kwam ik die tegen. En ik dacht dat ik hem had opgeslagen, dus ik moest er echt naar zoeken. Maakt niet uit, ik heb hem gevonden. En ik wil hem graag met jullie delen. En mijn wens is dat je er net zoveel aan hebt nu als dat ik had een jaar geleden. En ik kreeg eerlijkheidshalve vandaag ook weer lekker een klap in mijn gezicht toen ik me realiseerde wat mijn eigen overtuiging was in een bepaald vlak. Maar goed, daarmee heb ik af kunnen rekenen, dus ik deel deze graag met je. Groetjes.
So what do these people need to get started? Why aren't they starting? We all know the answer is fear. But the difference with you guys or me or anybody who's followed through is we're more afraid of what life would be like if we don't follow through than the person who's willing to settle for what they got and kind of hope it'll change and maybe purchase something for the moment and then not follow through on it. It's almost like people, overachievers, have a little more fear. They're a little more afraid of missing out. They're afraid of not being there, or they got a strong enough reason to follow through. So I'd say if you're looking at home, you want to give somebody some value, go, where do I start? I'm sick of this. That's a damn good place. That's probably why they bought the product in the first place, but now they're not.
To escape from that for just a minute.
What's that?
They bought the product to escape from that state.
Just for a moment.
Yeah.
So, because well, guess what? What makes people excited is progress. You don't have to be at the goal yet to feel alive again. You have to make progress. And the first step to progress is making a decision and buying the product. But then they don't do the second step, which is open the damn thing up.
I think another powerful distinction that you're hitting on here is the fact that a lot of people that have breakthroughs in their lives, like including Frank and I both in different, success stories, situations, whatever you want to call them, is that, people typically hit rock bottom before that must is a reality.
You're right.
So in thinking of that, because a lot of things as well, like we hear in marketing, like if you had a gun to your head right now and you had to make money in the next 48 hours, what would you do? And that really resonates with people. But so I just wanted to bring this into the conversation because I think a big part of the market of all these people aren't people that have their backs completely against the wall yet.
That's right.
Okay, so they're not in a must situation yet. They're in a desire situation where they're okay in their lives. They do have big dreams and ambitions. They do want greater things, but it's not pushing them yet to the point where they will do what it takes
To master
have the
something.
must. So what do you think? How did people go from not having their backs against the wall when they have no choice to say, I'm totally sick of this,
Right.
to conditioning their minds to go from their situation where they are, which may be okay,
Yeah.
to getting something greater?
Well, think about this. What pisses you off and what excites you is all relative. $300 a week, no, $2,500 excites him more, that memory to this day, than even the $1 million, he did in his first 24-hour version, right? Or you breaking the 4 minute mile, $1 million. That must have been out of your mind. Tell me about that for a second. What did that feel like? You make $1 million in 24 hours. Nobody in history of the internet's done it.
Euphoria.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
What was your?
It wasn't even about the money.
That's exactly right. That's exactly
It
right.
wasn't really about the money.
No, it wasn't.
I wasn't thinking like, oh, that's how many cars I can buy.
No.
It just wasn't. It was just breaking through like another barrier of progress.
So at that point, it wasn't about your back to your wall. At that point, what it was
It
really
was
about.
a further point for my fear, is what it really was.
For the point for your fear, and for some people, and I think in some cases, it's also a recognition of who I am and what I'm capable of. So for somebody whose life is already great, this is about, what if I could take on another skill that could create more freedom for my life? And just saying, I'm not having to go out and try and do it all perfectly right now. What I'm going to do for the next 8 weeks, I'm going to create a little ritual. I'm going to do one thing a day to condition my mind, right? So that I get strong, so I follow through. I'm going to read something. I'm going to listen to something. I'm going to immerse myself. I'm going to go for an intense jog, or I'm going to go lift weights, but I'm going to do it consciously to get in a state where I'm going to follow through. That's number one, because people follow through when they're in state. Second, I'm going to get clear about why this is a must for me. It's not because my back's against the wall, but because I want to master an area of life that could create some freedom. I'm not going to master it overnight, but I got the system, I got the plan. I'm going to do one thing a day. I'm going to work on one subject a week. This week's going to be about figuring out what the right product or industry is. Next week's going to be basics of building traffic. And each week I'm going to make a little progress, and I'm going to get to a goal, whatever that is. I'm going to make $1,000, my $300 in a week. I'm going to get to my $2,500. That first $2,500 is the most excited.
Unbelievable.
The first $300. I remember
It's the most life-changing, too.
It is the most life-changing. I remember I was supposed to be a truck driver, making $24,000 a year because I'd be making the most anybody in my family had ever made.
How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, real well. Thank God I'm not driving a truck, right?
I think you could pull the truck.
I figured out I could pull it with my
finger.
finger, man. I could do it with my teeth. I could pull it with my teeth, right? 36 grand a year was the goal. If I could make 3 grand in a month. When I did that, was out of my mind. And then it was like, could I make 10 grand a month? Then it was 10 grand in a day, then 100 grand a day. Then could I make $1 million in a day? I had a day where I made $400 million in a day. The stock value of the company I took public, my personal stock.
But it was
Before-
probably after I did it, though, so it doesn't really count. I'm just joking.
You're right.
People don't remember who's first, Tony.
I
400
totally agree
million,
with
a
you.
million,
Yeah,
it's all
who
the
cares?
same.
Who cares?
No,
I'm not saying
that's
to brag.
amazing, though.
I'm not saying to
No,
brag.
of
It's
course.
because they told me when I was on stage, I had this audience of about 15,000 people at the Continental Center. It was during a stretch break. I was doing what I loved, rocking the house. Everybody's going crazy. And they go, the stock's worth $400 million right now. I was like, wow, that's cool. It's like, okay, no one sounds stupid. It's like, what's next? And I went right back to what I loved. Once you break through, then it just becomes a game. The people that are getting your products have not yet broken through in most cases. The breakthrough happens by conditioning your mind every day, by feeding it a role model or story. It's putting yourself in a peak state where you follow through by getting physically strong. It's creating a little ritual of doing a little bit each day, and then you get momentum. But the most important thing of all is what we started out with. Why?
Absolutely.
Why is it a must for you? It doesn't have to be you're against the wall, but it has to be something you're hungry for, because the only difference in people is hunger. And if you're not hungry, get around people that are hungry and something will hit you. You watch a conversation, you get around people that are doing better, and all of a sudden you start going, my life sucks. I remember I went to a guy in LA. He's one of the most multi-billionaire guy, I'll never forget. And I lived in the Del Mar Castle, and I was really proud. That was like the symbol of me having taken myself from being poor to providing for my family this great place. It's built from castles in Europe overlooking the ocean, not far from you. And I went to this guy's house. He's a billionaire. He took me down to his wine cellar. I don't even drink wine. Went through this whole thing. At the end of the night, I was depressed. I lived in the Del Mar tenement, as far as I was concerned. I really was. I was like, I live in a crappy place, and all my standards changed. all of a sudden, I wasn't willing to settle for living that. All of a sudden, my back was to the wall in a different way because as a man, I knew I was capable of more. So people can change their standard by getting around where it's better. People can change their standard by getting associated with what's true, like the bills they got to solve, the problems they got to do it. Or they can do it because they're excited because it's something new they want to take on. Everyone's different, but they got to find the why, and they got to come up with some daily rituals to get them going and just do a step at a time. That's where you get momentum.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
So, think about what's the holy grail between somebody taking action or not. It's one word, certainty. When somebody is absolutely certain, the common word is believe, right? But, you can believe at a general level or you can believe with certain. When you're absolutely certain that if I do this, it's going to get that result and that result's going to change my life, you'll do it. When you think it absolutely is not going to work, you're never going to do it. The middle no man's land of maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, that's the piece that kills people, right? So if it's a must for you, you got to make it work, right? In our case, right? That's an example. If it's not a must for you and you're not sure, you don't know what to do. So years ago, I'd look around and say, okay, how do people get themselves to follow through that haven't been following through? What's the difference? And I started interviewing hundreds of people, literally, and eventually thousands, because I had thousands of my events. So I'd ask the group to give me their feedback. And I came up with this model. It's like the holy grail of belief, or the holy grail of momentum. It's like the difference between what makes the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, right? And the difference we all know is mindset, but like, how's that built? So this is what I did. I created stupid little 4 little boxes, and I'll scribble it here for you. You think about the first thing that determines whether you can do something or not, and I put that in this first box at the top here on the left side, and it's potential. Like, what's the potential of a human being? Like, when you guys started, you proved something no one had done in history. You ran the 4-minute mile, right? For golly knows how many centuries, they're trying to run a 4-minute mile. Roger Bannister does it. How did he do it? Do you remember? You did it in this industry, right? You made $1 million in a day. No one had ever done that in history, right? After you did it, a bunch of other guys are doing it because it became possible. Roger Bannister didn't just go physically practice. He made a shift in his head. He practiced in his head because he could never achieve it physically, so he had to change in his head first so that the result became certain enough he believed it, and then his body got him through. After Roger Bannister ran that 4-minute mile, within 2 years, 37 people ran a 4-minute mile.
Wow.
When no one in history had ever done it. Now here's how it works. The potential for anybody getting your product is extraordinary. They could do what you've done as much, more or less. They can do whatever they want to do. The potential's there. The market's proven that. Whether or not they tap into potential has a lot to do with what action they take, which is the question you came to me with, right? Like, God, they all have potential, but they're not taking action. And we all know that the action they take is going to determine the results they get. That's pretty obvious. So most people have a belief about what their real potential is no matter what you tell them. And that affects how much action they take. And of course that affects the result. And then ironically, that result reinforces their belief. And then that belief affects it. So I'll give you an example. Let's say a person has unlimited potential, we all agree. But they take little action, little results. Why? Because they have to start with a problem with their belief. They don't believe it's really going to happen for me. Maybe for Frank Kearns because he's got the cool hair and stuff, or maybe it's for you because you're so driven, but it's not me. Maybe Tony Robbins because he's a freak, got these big teeth. Whatever their thought process is, right? They got this thing, right? But what happens is, if you believe that there's very little potential, how much action are you going to take? Nothing, little. And when you take little potential with a little action, what kind of results do you get? Lousy little results. And when you get little results, what does that do to your belief? You go, see, I told you this was a waste of time, told you this wouldn't work. And then what happens? You tap even less potential. You take even less action. You get even worse results, and your belief gets even weaker. And this sucker feeds on itself until you are in a downward spiral.
It's poisonous.
It's poisonous and it's self-fulfilling. Now, what if something could happen that could come along and fill you with a sense of absolute certainty? Not like I believe, but where you know. In you guys' case, mine as well, we knew because we had to. Because we burned the boats. There was no other option. We had to find a way. We weren't going to live that way. We all did it in different ways and for different reasons, but in essence, that was it. If you get yourself in a state of certainty that this is going to work, I'm going to find the way, and if this doesn't work, I will make the way, then you tap a lot more potential. And when you're certain in your potential, you take massive action. When you take massive action, you really believe in something, you get great results. When you get great results, your brain goes, see, I told you I was a stud. I told you this thing would work out. Now you're even stronger. You tap more potential, take greater action, greater results. That's how you went from $300 in a week to $2,500 in 5 days to $100,000 in a month to $1 million in a day. Same thing with you. And we get momentum. That's why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Now some people go out and they go, well, I'm going to take a bunch of action. All right, I'm going to open this product. I'm going to try it. And they'll say to you, I even did it. But it's like a salesman who goes and knocks on the door, and he knocks on 100 doors and says,
You don't want one of these, do you?
yeah, exactly right. You know? And even if he doesn't say it verbally, his face says it because he doesn't believe it's going to work. So his voice, his body, the execution is so weak. Maybe if he talks to 100 people, somebody's going to buy out of pity. They don't want his kids to starve, right? But he's not going to get the result. So the core difference in people is how do you produce certainty when the world isn't giving it to you? You go out and you try. In your case, you're 100,000 in debt and nothing's working. How do you keep yourself going? The way you did it, the way I did it, the way you're doing it, we may not have done it consciously, is we didn't change our potential. That was there. And it wasn't even taking more action. Taking more action with a belief it's not going to work, it's not going to change anything. We got results in our head that made us feel certain as if it had already happened. True or false for you?
True.
Right? So give me an example so people know I'm not just making this crap up.
Well, I mean, just like when I had nothing, I already knew I was driving like Ferraris and Porsches and stuff because I always wanted those cars. I already knew I was going to have them. It was inevitable.
Right.
I inevitably, that was just my inevitable outcome.
But how did you do that? Did you have a ritual? Did you think about it regularly? Was it one time you thought about it, or was it something you had an obsession towards?
I had an obsession towards it. I mean, I used to work at a video store, which is the last job I ever had in my life.
Thank God.
And I used to go to work almost every day, and I used to bring 2 magazines with me to read on my breaks. Entrepreneur magazine, just to read about business and everything else, and read about what other people are doing, look for role models. And I used to carry an Auto Trader with me. And I used to look at Porsches that were for sale.
Yeah.
And people always used to ask me, what are you doing with that Auto Trader magazine? I'm like, well, I'm just picking out the Porsche that I'm going to buy.
Right.
Which
probably got you a lot of crap.
I did. People made fun of me.
Sure.
I actually had a boss at that job tell me, you really shouldn't do that to yourself, John, because it's very, very likely that is never going to happen. That it's very likely that you're never going to have that car.
Yeah.
That's the kind of belief he was trying to put in my head. And I was like, no, you don't realize that it's inevitable that I will drive here sometime in the near future with that car when I'm not working for you and drop movies off for you to put back on the shelf. And that actually happened. And it was one of the most fulfilling days of my entire life. And the great thing was when I pulled up in this car, I was in my mid-20s. Yeah. A car that most mid-20s.
What kind of car was it?
It was a Porsche 911 Turbo. It was a convertible and everything. It was a beautiful car. It was one I always dreamed of having. But, for a few years I always circled the ads of which ones I was going to buy. Well, when I finally got it and I pulled up at the store, I had all these people. Some people that were still working at this $7 an hour job were there years after I left. And I'll never forget this, even the boss and stuff, and the reaction of the people was like, wow, that is awesome. Yeah. Is that your dad's car? And all I said to them was, not exactly.
Good for you.
And I just smiled and just left. But it was, it's the weirdest thing, but I just knew it was going to happen.
But you knew it because
I conditioned myself to
you did it over and over again.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I was not a popular kid, but I was passionate and intense, and I'll never forget. Some particular girls gave me some crap, and a guy too. And I wrote in their journals or their annual yearbook at the end, I wrote, someday, I said, you treated me like hell. Someday I'll be rich and famous, and you'll be an effing truck driver. And you'll be sitting there, I'll be with with this beautiful woman of my life, rich, and you'll be watching me on television thinking, you wish you would have treated me better. I actually wrote this shit in people's annuals because I went to a 10-year high school reunion when the people friends showed me this stuff,
great.
Right? But it's like, I burned the bridges, baby. I was like, this is how it's going to be. So I'll give you a perfect example of this. They did studies, many have been done at this element, where they want to say, how much does the mind affect performance? So take basketball. I've worked with a lot of NBA players and turned them around, and one of the problems many of them have is they'll choke on the free throw line. Well, everybody knows in that case, if you normally shoot really well and now you're not, something's interfering, something's getting in front of your state, some uncertainty, right? Obviously. So they take a group and say, we're going to make them better. How do you make somebody better who has got this mental block? So they take a group of guys and they're going to do free throws, and they do one group where they just practice for 6 weeks. Totally intense practice, and I forget the number of free throws, but they got to do this many free throws every day. Take a second group, and they have them not practice at all. Obvious. And they take a third group and they don't let them touch a basketball. All they do is have them practice in their mind, but the key is it's not practice makes perfect, it's perfect practice makes perfect, as corny as that sounds. So these guys see themselves making the shot every single time, conditioning their mind and body that it's perfect every time. They're not interrupted by a reality that would screw with them. So at the end of 6 weeks, they tally it up, and now they give them a test to see who has the highest free throw percentage, success. What do you guess it's going to be? Well, the obvious person says, obviously, it's not the guys that didn't practice, but which one is it? The mind, or is it the ones that actually practice?
I'm assuming the mind.
Yeah, you would assume it because it's true.
Right.
You intuitively know the truth. That practicing's not enough. It's getting yourself so certain so many times that now when you go to do it, there's no hesitancy and you execute. It's having that absolute certainty that makes you tap your full potential, take massive action, get massive results, be reinforced to having stronger belief. This is what makes somebody a star at anything.
Juist. Ik denk dat dat stukje video voor heel veel mensen kan weergeven hetgene wat onze resultaten in de weg staat. De angst om te falen, de angst wat onze omgeving ervan zal zeggen. Dat is wellicht ook voor mensen een reden om iemand maar niet uit te nodigen. En daar hebben we het eigenlijk ook al een paar keer over gehad. Mensen vervallen toch stiekem in een soort van angst of zoiets. En dan gaan we al invullen van, oh weet je wat, laat ik die maar niet vragen, want die is al succesvol. Heb ik een vraag aan je. Wie ken jij die er een ton verdient per maand? Euro's of dollars? Maakt helemaal niks uit. Staan die mensen in je telefoon? Het zullen er niet zo heel erg veel zijn. Wanneer je dan mensen in je telefoon hebt staan, of in je Facebook, of je LinkedIn, of noem allemaal maar op, die zakelijk zijn ingesteld, of een eigen zaak hebben, of ZZP'er zijn. Ook ZZP'ers zijn ZZP'er geworden, ik weet niet hoe dat heet in België natuurlijk, maar mensen die, hoe zeg je dat, kleine zelfstandigen zijn, zeg maar zonder personeel. Die mensen, die hebben die keus gemaakt met een reden. En 9 van de 10 keer is die keuze om meer vrijheid te creëren. Terwijl heel veel van die ondernemers dan op een gegeven moment na een jaar, 2, 3 jaar weten dat ze eigenlijk hun eigen baan hebben gecreëerd. Hun eigen job, hun eigen just over broke. En dat ze daar dan vaak nog harder moeten werken dan geen 36 of 32, 36 of 40 uur. Maar dan al gauw een 80 of soms 100 uur per week. En dat week in, week uit, dag in, dag uit, maand in, maand uit. En dat jaren, decennia achter elkaar. Wij hier bij de advertising, met name hier bij Kick-Ass Class, krijgen een iets wat andere manier van denken mee. En die andere manier van denken, die zal ervoor zorgen dat wanneer je het lef hebt, dat is het eigenlijk. Het lef om te besluiten wat jouw resultaten gaan zijn, daar je tanden in te zetten, er een overtuiging van te maken. Die overtuiging, zoals we in een eerdere Kick-Ass Class behandeld hebben, om dat tafelblad, de overtuiging is eigenlijk een tafelblad, te staven met extra stoelpoten die van alles kunnen zijn, waardoor dat blad steviger staat. Wanneer je die overtuiging een realiteit, een echte overtuiging kan maken voor jezelf, wat zou je dan doen? In de video ook werd aangehaald van, oké, wanneer je echt met je rug tegen de muur staat. Je hebt bijvoorbeeld een eigen bedrijf. Dat bedrijf dat gaat niet zo goed. Of misschien zelfs heel erg slecht. In deze tijden van de recessie is dat helemaal niet raar. Hoe ga je daarmee om? Steek je daar al je tijd en energie in? Heel veel mensen steken al hun tijd en energie in het ervaren, voelen en bezig zijn met de obstakels die er zijn in hun leven. En ieder leven heeft obstakels. Zonder pieken geen dalen, maar zonder dalen ook geen pieken. En het is even belangrijk om je te realiseren. Ik zie uitdagingen, zo noem ik ze graag, want niemand heeft graag echt een probleem. Maar heel veel mensen, waarschijnlijk jij ook, houden van een uitdaging. Ja, een uitdaging willen we allemaal wagen. Een uitdaging, oké, ja, kom maar hier, dat doe ik wel even. Zorg dat je niet wordt opgeslokt door de negatieve dingen die er kunnen gebeuren in je leven. Zie het als testjes. zie het als uitdagingen. Ook al zijn sommige uitdagingen echt behoorlijke uitdagingen. En ook ik kan erover meepraten. En ik ben zeker in deze groep niet de enige. Ja toch? Je zal bereid moeten zijn om het werk te doen. En waarom doe je wat je doet? Ik zei het vorige keer al. Ik heb een training mogen ontvangen van Nina hier in de tuin. En het was echt een eye-opener voor mezelf. Gewoon omdat er dan dingen gebeuren, dat je antwoorden krijgt zeg maar, op vragen. En je bent niet eens bezig met die vragen. Daarom proberen we eigenlijk om door middel van de Kick-Ass Class je toch steeds meer te triggeren. Om bij jezelf te gaan nadenken, te gaan graven van ja, waarom onderneem ik niet een actie om? Of waarom blijf ik iedere keer dezelfde actie herhalen, terwijl ik toch niet het resultaat heb wat ik eigenlijk graag wil hebben. Ik wil graag nog een video met je delen. En dit is een video van Jim Rohn. En Jim Rohn helaas is overleden. Maar de beste man heeft zo'n ontiegelijk arsenaal aan dingen geproduceerd. Waar heel veel mensen wat aan kunnen hebben. Dat ik jullie graag ook eventjes van hem een video laat zien. En natuurlijk kun je, als je daarvoor open staat, heel veel dingen van Anthony Robbins vinden op YouTube. En je kan heel veel boeken van hun vinden of aanschaffen via, ik zeg maar wat, een bol.com bijvoorbeeld. Ook van Jim Rohn kan je heel veel dingen vinden op het internet. En ik denk dat het belangrijk is voor alles en iedereen, ook voor mijzelf, om te zorgen dat je iedere keer je horizon blijft verbreden en dat je meer kennis blijft vergaren. Het creëren van eigen mogelijkheden, andere
This is what makes
mogelijkheden,
somebody a star at
is
anything.
heel erg belangrijk. En boeken, of in dit geval video's, want heel veel mensen vinden het tegenwoordig niet meer zo fijn of prettig om te lezen, maar kijken liever naar een video. Die video's en boeken helpen je erbij om je kennis te verbreden, om je kennis te vergroten, maar zorgen er ook voor dat je steeds meer met kleine dingen... Oh, wacht even, dat is niet echt de bedoeling hier. Dat zorgt er ook voor dat je iedere keer weer een beetje meer getriggerd wordt om te realiseren wat je nou graag wil in je leven. Er is een reden waarom je begonnen bent met de advertising net. En zijn de kleine obstakeltjes die je wellicht zal ervaren het waard om je brandend verlangen, dromen, wensen, verwachtingen, om die in de vriezer te stoppen of in de koelkast te laten staan? Ik bedoel, wat zou er nou gebeuren als je er echt voor zou gaan? Je schouders er tegenaan zet en het gewoon doet. Ik doe het ook maar gewoon, weet je wel. Ik bedoel, ik ben 7 dagen in de week ben ik live. 3 online presentaties, 3 keer Kick-Ass Class en dan de dinsdagavond live in Amsterdam in de Bult. Iedere dag ermee bezig, van 's morgens tot 's avonds. Dan kan je maar één ding en dat is slagen. En helemaal wanneer je dat plaatje daadwerkelijk kunt zien in je hoofd en zoiets hebt van, weet je wat, ik heb het nu gehad. Het is nu afgelopen. Ik ga het nu doen. Dan gaat het op een gegeven moment niet meer zo belangrijk zijn wat je omgeving allemaal gaat zeggen en denken. En ik denk dat Jim Rohn daadwerkelijk hier een stukje advies heeft voor ons allemaal, wat zeer zeker niet mals is. Hier de volgende video van Jim Rohn. Most awesome advice ever.
Now, some challenges for you. Jot these down. I'm going to go through them very quickly now, as we rush to a conclusion here in about 13 minutes. Here they are. You're going to have to write fast now. Here's number one. Review your performance, whether it's communication or whether it's activity or whether it's a CEO or whether it's on the job. Here's what my father said, a seminar in a sentence. I wish he was here to give it, but since he's not here, in his honor, I will give his seminar in a sentence. Here it is. Always do more than you get paid for to make an investment in your future. Now, some unions would argue with us on this, but that's my papa's seminar in a sentence. Always do more than you get paid for to make an investment in your future. My father was so unique. Papa said if it's raining, you can't fix the roof. If it isn't raining, it doesn't need to be fixed. He was a grand old man. Wow, this guy. So review your performance, your language with your children. Just go over that and say, have I been too harsh and too strong, too stubborn? Should I learn to be easier, mix more compassion with the tough stuff I have to deal with? Yes. You know, prayer will help sometimes. If nothing else, you know, dear God, help me say the right thing, not to ruin it all by poor communication. Here's the next on my list. Face your fears. You know, I don't know what challenges you might have in going over the stuff we've been going over in terms of amending your philosophy or going back and, you know, redoing some stuff that you might have messed up. But face all your fears. That's how you conquer them. Don't dismiss them. Just face them. Say, here's what I'm afraid of. I wonder what I could do to change that. Here's the next one. Exercise your willpower to change direction. You don't have to keep doing what you've done the last 6 years if it's not yielding you the benefits you want. In the seminar I do for Jerry, my mentor helped me to review the last 6 years so I wouldn't repeat those errors the next 6. See, if you're a goose, you have no choice to do the next 6 like you did the last 6. But if you're not a goose, here's what you can do. Pick a new destination and start going that way. You say, well, I've done this for the last 2 years. I'll probably have to do it another 2. And the answer is no, not in a million years. Now, you can change one little degree at a time, or if you want to, you can revolutionize the whole thing. Who says you couldn't revolutionize the whole thing in a week's time and start a brand new direction that will most assuredly help you arrive in a brand new place a year from now, 3 years from now? No telling 5 years from now where you could arrive. Use your willpower to start the process. Just willpower to change a little or change a lot. Anybody can change. You don't have to repeat last year. Clean up the errors. Invest it now in the next year. Watch it make the difference. Here's the next one that's important. Parents have to do it. We ask our kids to do it, but we've got to do it. Admit your mistakes. Sometimes you have to admit them to others. Here's some of the best words in the English language. I'm sorry. The reason why those are good words is because it could start a whole new relationship. It could start 2 people going in a whole new direction. I'm sorry. Simple, easy. Not easy, but if you get this done, the turnaround can be dramatic. The early years can be big in payoff. And here's the big one. Admit your mistakes to yourself. You don't have to babble about them to everybody in the neighborhood. But it doesn't hurt to sit down and have a conversation with yourself and say, there's no use kidding myself. Here's where I really am. I've got pennies in my pocket and I got nothing in the bank. That's what I said after the Girl Scout left my door. I had a conversation with myself. And I said, I don't want this to happen anymore. Next, refine your goals. I don't know what ambitions you've had up until now, but this weekend would be a good time to start the process. We're going to talk about our goals workshop before our session is over this weekend. Maybe that will help stimulate you to set some higher goals, reach for some higher purpose, go for something beyond what you thought you could do. By the time this weekend's over, you might double, triple, quadruple the amount of goals, purpose, all the things you think you can accomplish. You could multiply that by 10 by the time we finish here on Sunday. Here's the next one, believe in yourself. Yes, you got to believe in God, and you got to believe in the community, and you've got to believe in the possibilities. You've got to believe in the economy. You've got to believe that tomorrow can be better than today. But here's the big one, believe in yourself. There isn't a skill you can't learn. There isn't a discipline you can't try. There isn't a class you couldn't take. There isn't a book you couldn't read. If it's written in some other language, you just get it translated and read it. Here's the next one. Ask for wisdom. This is communication of the highest source. Ask for wisdom. Ask for wisdom that creates answers. Ask for the wisdom that creates faith to believe things are possible. In King Solomon's day, there was the dilemma of two mothers who claimed the same baby. And the question was, whose baby is this? This mother says, it's mine. The other mother says, no, it's mine. Solomon said, bring me the baby. They brought him the baby, and he raised the sword. He said, I'm going to cut this baby in half and give one half to this mother and one half to this mother. And as he raised his sword, sobbingly, the real mother said, no, 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 don't cut the baby in half. Give it to her, who was not the real mother. Solomon says, now I know who's the real mother. See, that is so wise. And the moment was such drama. But Solomon, the wisest of the wise, knew what to do to settle the deal. Ask for wisdom to deal with the challenges of today and tomorrow, to deal with the challenges your family brings you. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Here's the next one, conserve your time. I must learn to do this. How much time have I got left? Not an unlimited supply. How many of these weekends can I do? Not 1,000, just a few, maybe a handful. Sometimes we get faked out. Bill Bailey says, the average person says, I got 20 more years. No, Bill says, you got 20 more times. If you go fishing once a year, you've only got 20 more times to go fishing. Not 20 years. That fakes you out. I got 20 years. No, 20 times. See, that brings it right down to the real stuff. 20 times. How many more seminars like this? Not 1,000, a few, just a few. So would I mumble and stumble? Would I give you less than my best when I've only got a few more to give? And the answer is no, of course not. If you're a person of some dignity and quality, you wouldn't let that happen. Next, invest your profits. We're going to talk now about this before the weekend is over on financial independence. And I'm going to give you some excellent advice. Here was one of the philosophies Mr. Shoaff gave me, along with Mary Kay. Here's what he said. Profits are better than wages. Wages make you a living. Profits make you a fortune. Mary Kay and I went for that. Wow. Could we start earning profits while we're making a living? The answer is yes. I went berserk. Here's one now. Protect your family. These are troublesome times. Not that they haven't been troublesome times for 6,000 years. At school, troublesome times. I know a wonderful mother and a wonderful father who had two boys. In school, they went two different directions, and one became a model citizen and the other one went to jail. Wow. Protect your family as best you can from the hidden dangers, the lurking evil one. Here's the next one. Live with intensity. You might as well turn it up a notch or two after this weekend. Why not? Invest more of you in whatever you do. Be a little stronger, be a little wiser, step up your vitality, contribution. Put everything you've got into everything you do, and then ask for more vitality and more strength and more vigor, more heart, more soul. Next, find your place. This one now is so important. If you just work on a job, find the best place where you can serve well. And sure enough, they'll ask you to occupy a better place. And if you keep doing the job well, the guy says, well, if I had a better job, I'd really pour it on. But I got this lousy job, so I just goof off. See, that's the philosophy of disaster. So you've got a lousy job. Do the very best you can. That's your best way out. Is not to do less than you could, but to do the best you can. With that philosophy, your life can take great leaps forward. Here's a Bible phrase that says, if you work on your gifts, they will make room for you. They'll make a place for you. Here's the next one. Demand integrity from yourself. You can't demand integrity from someone else. Integrity is like loyalty. You can't demand it of someone else. You can only demand it of yourself. Be the best example of loyalty, and you'll get some loyal followers. Be the best example of integrity, and you'll have people surround you that have integrity. Lead the way. Next. Welcome the disciplines. Can't give you much better advice than that, because disciplines create the reality. Disciplines build bridges, build cities. Disciplines, a well-disciplined activity creates abundance, creates uniqueness, productivity. Next, fight for what's right. It's a fight we're in. The storyteller says, and there was great war in heaven. Wow, you mean way back there? Yes. 1/3 of the angels conspired. I asked Bill Bailey, how long do you suppose it took 1/3 of these angels to get together? Did they conduct meetings? I don't know. Bailey says the storyteller doesn't say. I said, then we're supposed to use our imagination. I don't know. It does say finally the great war occurred and the 2/3 prevailed and the 1/3 lost. One of the writers of later scripture here
Misschien voor sommige mensen net eventjes wat te zware kost. Dacht ik net eventjes. Maar ja, dus laat ik het zo zeggen. Ik vind de man echt geweldig. Je kan zo ontiegelijk veel van Jim Rohn leren. En hetgene wat natuurlijk heel erg belangrijk is, wat alles en iedereen natuurlijk moet weten, is dat wanneer je er niet echt voor gaat, dat je vroeg of laat vertaald zal worden. En daar we nog maar 4 minuutjes over hebben, wil ik graag bij deze bekendmaken wie er is gekozen tot de meest daadkrachtige persoon kick-ass clasher van de week. Tadadata. Wil ik heel graag feliciteren Menno van Huiksloot. Waarom Menno van Huiksloot? Menno is een doorzetter puur zang. Hij heeft mij een mail gestuurd van ongeveer een A4'tje lang. En de daadkracht die Menno tentoonspreidt, hoe hij bezig is met de advertising net, terwijl er zoveel gebeurt in zijn leven, dat alleen al, het doorzettingsvermogen alleen Menno, vind ik echt geweldig, man. En Ik wens je daarvoor wat terug te geven in de vorm van deze erkenning. Naar andere mensen wil ik graag aangeven dat het voor de een eventjes wat makkelijker is om dingen te realiseren dan voor de ander. Dat is eigenlijk ook een van de redenen waarom ik de training van vanavond op deze manier in elkaar heb gestoken. Wenselijk een soort van spiegel waarin je zelf kan bepalen. In dit leven kan je iedere dag opnieuw een besluit nemen. En wat jij besluit, dat is helemaal aan jou. Waar je naartoe wil, wat je van jouw leven wil maken, ook dat is helemaal aan jou. Menno, ik vind het helemaal te gek dat jij de Kick-Ass Club producent bent geworden van week 18. Voor de mensen die gaan voor de Kick-Ass Club producent van deze week, de week 19, zou ik willen zeggen, ga ervoor. Besluit wat je wil. Waar wil jij staan zondag 14 juli? Na onze 90-day challenge. Het kan allemaal, het is allemaal mogelijk. Morgenavond om 8 uur doe ik weer een online presentatie. Wat gaat er nou met jou gebeuren wanneer jij 2 of 4 gasten bij die online presentatie aanwezig hebt? En wanneer je die mensen uitnodigt, maak er dan niet zo'n verhaal van. Hou het kort en hou het bondig. Nodig mensen uit, daadwerkelijk binnen 2 minuten. Duurt je uitnodiging langer dan 2 minuten, dan ben je dus niet op de juiste manier bezig. Menno, nogmaals, van harte gefeliciteerd. Ik wens dat je er ook heel veel kracht in vindt. En ik ben heel erg nieuwsgierig wie de Kick-Ass producent van week 19 gaat worden. Ik wens jullie een hele fijne avond en graag tot morgenavond natuurlijk. Of tot zaterdagochtend, 11 uur. Want dan hebben we natuurlijk weer zo'n hartstikke leuke Kick-Ass class als vandaag. Maar dan weer een beetje anders. En we gaan dan om 11 uur precies beginnen met het huis van John de Mol. En als dat je niet doet watertanden, dan weet ik het ook niet meer. Wens jullie een hele fijne avond en graag tot de volgende keer. Groetjes, hoi!